Good morning. Welcome to day 2 at AWE. It's great to be back here. I've spoken here several times before as part of Niantic Labs. Today I'm with Niantic Spatial, a company with a familiar name but a completely new mission. Our mission is to help people and machines understand the world through geospatial intelligence. This is the beginning. Many of you recognize the old style of the Google search box. It's the early 2000s, and Google had just come out and started to take over the search world and the internet. You could ask it anything. You could ask it about history, science, car repair, and it was magic. It would get the answer immediately and give you 10 blue links that gave you the answer you need. But we discovered at Google that many of the queries were about the real world. Where's the restaurant? Is a museum open? What's that plumber's phone number? Google had to do something about this, so they immediately went out and bought 2 companies, a company called Keyhole and a company called Where2, and started working on that kind of data. And this helped create Google Earth and Google Maps, and John Hankey and I joined the company to help Google understand geography. And this is what we got. We made Google searchable and get geography onto the map. We added new categories of business enabling through our APIs, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Zillow, logistics, delivery, discovery. All were enabled by this new capability of adding map data to search and making it findable. So in 2005, the map started to become the interface to the real world. Guess what? We have a new interface to the real world. How many of you recognize this? How many of you use it? How many of you use it to replace Google search? Raise hands. Anybody? Yeah, that's a lot of folks that are changing how they behave because AI is coming up with better answers, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, or Claude. These systems are changing how we think about the world, changing how we interact. And AI has read all of human writing and brought it together in these large language models. AI is book smart at a superhuman scale. But people still talk about the real world. And we get the same kind of boring answers that we got 20 years ago. Text, maps, a static link. Meanwhile, though, devices are changing. We no longer sit at desktops. We have phones, but we're now actually moving from phones to glasses. As this audience more than anyone knows, we saw some great devices talked about yesterday. And we have the Ray-Bans from Meta. Everybody's using glasses now as a start. And this changes how we interact with the world. But it's not just glasses. We also have autonomous vehicles, robots, delivery robots, AI agents, all needing to understand more about the world. AI needs to not only be book smart, but it needs to be street smart as well. That brings us to Niantic Spatial. Small fan club up here. 2 weeks ago, we were Niantic Labs, and we started out with games and built Pokemon Go as part of that process. And that Pokemon Go led to AR at a grand scale with over 500 million people playing an AR game in 2016. It was incredibly exciting. And that company focused on bringing people together by providing shared AR experiences in the real world and also those who used our development platform. But on May 29th, we sold our biggest games to Scopely, and we became Niantic Spatial. And our mission is to transform how people and machines understand and interact with the real world. We're entirely focused on this idea of geospatial intelligence. We're uniquely positioned because of that historical data that we've collected and this new technology called transformers that has also enabled LLMs. And our goal is to build a large geospatial model of the world to give AI spatial awareness. So I've been in the computer industry for 40 years, and that's grimace. And I have never seen a technology change how everybody thinks about this industry. The internet, communications, the mobile phone, these were all huge changes, but AI is even greater than that. And we don't understand how it's all going to play out. But I think that this is an opportunity to apply that same technology that improved language models to actually understand the real world. So that's what we'll be working on. So how do we think about it at Niantic? We approach it through 3 ways: the capture, locate, and augment. And so we use tools to collect the data and then help you visually position it in the middle. And then finally, once we have an accurate location for you, we enable you to augment the world precisely in games and in all sorts of other experiences. So let's talk about capture first. Scaniverse. How many of you use Scaniverse? Yeah. It's a great app, and it allows you to collect data about the real world and use it for your own purposes, bring it into your content, bring it into your games, bring it into your industrial situation, 3D models, texture, geometry, but also now Gaussian splats. That data, along with the data that we got from Ingress and Pokemon Go, and soon Snap as well, allows us to build a map of the world with over 1 million locations reconstructed. We've recently started using drone data to augment and extend our information. And finally, we have a new device that we call Photon, which I'll talk about here. So this is a custom collection device that allows us to capture larger areas more accurately and more quickly. And we use it, in sort of 2 ways. One, we collect sort of enterprise scale models. This is ferry building right here. And this helps our enterprise customers both visualize and localize over much larger areas. But more importantly for me is it allows us to get ground truth high quality data to help build our models with. So combining all of this data together produces some very impressive results. And this is first time we're showing this video, and I'm very, very impressed with what the team's been able to build out. Combining the scanning with the phone, with the Photon, and also with the drone data, and then using all of that to reconstruct and create a better visual experience. And I want to realize that this is not just about visual reconstruction. Getting an accurate visual model is a cue that we also have very good localization and can use this data for both emergency response, as you saw there, as well as for consumer and entertainment purposes. And having the ability to compare and combine these data together, or conflate the data together, allows us to have a much better experience. So I want to thank the team, by the way, for producing that. That was a lot of work very recently. And I think the other thing I will say is that that was Pier 39, or Fisherman's Wharf. And I lived in the Bay Area 30 years, and I had never visited there until the last 2 weeks. And it's actually really cool. So give it a shot. Okay, so once we've scanned and collected the data, then localization, locating, our visual positioning system, enables us to precisely position you in the real world. And many of the people in this room know why it's important, because if you know exactly where you are, you're able to augment the world precisely and also understand the world around you. So GPS kind of works, but it doesn't really work indoors, and it doesn't work in big city urban canyons. Uber drivers understand that pain. The VPS works indoors, outdoors, wherever we have data. And it also enables the ability for multiple users to see exactly the same thing, sort of a shared AR or remote collaboration. And this is an example I want to bring up right here. So this is Sphere, one of our partners, developing with the Niantic VPS and collecting the data with our scanning system, then uploading that data into the cloud and sharing that data with a remote expert so that the 2 people, the one in the field and the remote expert, can augment the data and have a shared simultaneous view of the experience. And we think that this is a very powerful use case that needs that, both very fast scanning as well as the ability to share it and provide a high quality 3D model to the person remotely. So bringing the real-world object to an expert at their desk. So what else can you do with it beyond just augmenting a enterprise use case? We can also augment the real world at large scale. So this is the San Francisco Ferry Building, and we have route maps for the ferries as well as more detailed information here. So this is my favorite demo. This was built with Eighth Wall, and it allows you to interact with a very precise piece of the ferry building and have an experience at that place. And I want to talk about Eighth Wall a bit. So Eighth Wall Studio went into general release yesterday. Congratulations. And two very important new features. One, we've just added AI-generated assets that you can integrate with your content. And more importantly, you have one-click native app deployment. So the ability for Eighth Wall to publish not just to the web, but to other devices and generate an installable completely opens up an opportunity to publish apps everywhere. So if you're interested, sign up at eighthwall.com. Other partners. So Singapore Tourism Board is using VPS to have a greater experience in the Flower Dome. Booz Allen is working with their partners to enable remote collaboration. Alias is using our system for training. Sugar Creative is building an experience in New York and Boston. And finally, we talked about Sphere and what they're doing with remote collaboration. Now we get to the fun stuff. Meowwolf. So Meowwolf is a really cool company. It was an artist collective started in 2008. Punk rock artists is what I heard it called. And they had this cool idea of bringing art into a place. And the name, I'll start with the name. They got together, they wrote down a bunch of words, put it in a hat, and pulled out the first two words. Those were Meowwolf, and they've turned Meowwolf into a brand that is really powerful. How many of you, if any, have been to a Meowwolf installation? Wow, okay, this is great. So you understand that it's an amazing indoor experience that combines beautiful art and beautiful experiences and gives you puzzles and experiences in situ at the site. So the partnership with Niantic is to bring that same experience and put it into the outside world. So we think we can give them portals to combine their beautiful art with the outside world and expand the audience for Meowwolf generally, but also to bring Meowwolf users back inside with this extra information. And we're very excited about the partnership, and you can see them in Houston, Dallas, Las Vegas, Santa Fe, and Denver, with Los Angeles here and New York coming soon in the next 2 years. Okay, so many of you yesterday saw the announcement by Evan. We are going to be the VPS for Snap Spectacles as well as Snapchat. And it's a multi-year agreement, and we're going to jointly build an AI map together, and we're very excited about this. So the 400,000 lens developers, some in this room, we need to give you the power to enable VPS in Snap Lens experiences. And we think that with the combination of the developers and Snapchat users, we can build a much larger map than we have right now, and we're very excited about that. So I want to show you a video that's been prepared that gives you an idea.
Ooh, Carmen's in town. We should go out tonight.
Hey, Dot. Carmen loves live music. Where can we take her? SF Jazz? Great.
Hey, we have some time. Why don't we all go for a walk?
Okay, let's go. Hey, Dot. We have time before Carmen gets here. What's a good place to sit? I love croissant. Let's do la boulangerie.
Hey Dot, can you help us get to the SF Jazz? Oh, looks like she beat us here.
Hi, there you are. You made it. What's the plan?
Yeah, there's a cool set tonight at 7.
Thanks for making the plan.
Dot's the one doing the heavy lifting. Thanks, Dot.
So this was a great collaboration between our Peridot team, who built this and was our first sort of lens developer inside Niantic, and the Spectacles team, who did incredible amounts of work with the team to enable many of the things you just saw. This was very early big application for Spectacles. So we're very excited about it. It requires a deep understanding of the real world, and it depends on a lot of things that were powered by our research teams that are both in Oxford and London in the UK. And I'll talk about a couple of them here today. So, you know, same as today, there's a conference going on in Nashville called CVPR, which is one of the 2 preeminent computer vision conferences. And I'm going to talk about 2 papers that we're presenting there that I think are very important both to our future, but also, you know, throughout sharing with the rest of the world. So the first one is about depth estimation. And I know this sounds a little bit esoteric, but it actually matters a lot. So many companies, including Niantic, have been working on single-shot depth, you know, deriving depth from a single photo. And it helps solve a lot of problems if you can get it right. And, you know, we're very proud to announce that this paper, called MVS Anywhere, is state-of-the-art. We are able to beat everybody else's. And the question is, why does it matter? So Gaussian splats are an example of this. So, you know, they look beautiful, but underneath, Gaussian splats are kind of bumpy and struggle a bit. And the goal is, can we make the mesh, the polygon, the data as aligned as it appears to be in the Gaussian splat? And on the right side, you can see the change that MVS Anywhere enables. And it applies not just to the mesh, but it also makes Gaussian splats themselves look better because it aligns the data. And, you know, why does this matter to folks in this room? Well, if the mesh is smoother and more accurate, then the interaction of that mesh and the occlusion of that mesh with the rest of the world works much better. So those paradots that we're walking around in the scene can get occluded by that vase much more accurately. So I think it's really going to help not just the experiences, but it also happens to allow us to improve our data and make it more accurate. The other project is called Morpheus, and it allows you to take a video, generate a 3D model, and then reimagine it completely. And this was talked about in the keynote on the first day, the ability for people to personalize their view of the world. Take that same view and envision, you know, a cubist painting, you know, Christmas, a blacksmith's forge. All of these, this is not just retexturing. This is taking the same underlying structure, but allowing AI to generate a better, visually consistent model from the real world. And so this is, I think, very important to the future of AR because it allows you to personalize AR and personalize your world while still seeing, you know, more or less what everybody else sees. Finally, so I've talked a little bit about it, and this is, you know, really where we're going. Our goal is to build an AI map for the world using a large geospatial model. And there are a lot of different ways to build a map. We brute forced it at Google. We collected a lot of data, used a lot of elbow grease, and built a map of the world that, you know, looks quite good in 3D back at Google. But that doesn't scale, and it struggles with the world changing all the time. More importantly, AI and humans and robots all need more accurate, more complete data than you can find in Google Maps. And we believe that the large geospatial model allows us to build that map from less data. And so we, you know, definitely using all of the data coming in from the scans, drones and Photon, but we think we can build a map of the world more accurate, more complete, and more up to date with our large geospatial model. So if LLMs help AIs understand language, then our LGM will help them understand the world. So if you're in AR, robotics, or real-world AI, come talk to us in our booth. We have a very large booth down there in the corridor. And we think that we're trying to build this more complete map for all of your use cases. Also, by the way, come to our booth and get some swag. Niantic Spatial's new. This swag could be worth something someday because not even our employees have this swag yet. In any case, this is our mission again, transform how people and machines understand and interact with the physical world. But the word transform is not an accident. Transformers changed AI, and I think now they'll change geography too. Thank you very much. Thank you.